Well, welcome back. I hope you're excited to be back. I'm excited to be here. I drove all of 19 hours last week to get here, and I'm very, very pleased to be back in the South. So Cornell's up in upstate New York, actually closer to Canada than New York City even. So I had some pretty wicked winters for the past 4 years. So I joked when I moved up there, I was finishing up in Alabama and in North Carolina, and I was hoping I would trade an Alabama August for an Ithaca winter. It's not true. Not true at all. I will take an August in the South any day over this winter weather. So he shared some of my background. All of my degrees, except for one of my masters, is in engineering. So I'm a civil engineer. I did concentrate in construction at my PhD. I do have 10 years, roughly 10 years, of industry experience before I did the PhD. That was mostly in the electric utility. So I did transmission to a little bit of generation, but that was more kind of the business side and the trading and the optimization of those units. I have remodeled a home, or actually two. Welcome. And so I have, I guess, a hodgepodge of experience. Definitely probably not going to hit on everybody's interest within here. It's part of what I've put up on the board to try to better gauge what is the overall or majority interest, and not just solely going to focus on that, still going to try to pull in the others to try to make things resonate. The previous position I had at a university, I worked with what we called project teams. So they self-selected, self-organized, all of that, and actually I'm going to have a special problems while I'm here for the ABC construction competition. So I guess I'll put up some flyers and hopefully court some of you to partake. It will include travel. Like, none of this will be at a cost for you, and it won't be a structured form of learning. It'll be what's referred to as experiential learning, and you'll see more of that. So if you're interested in that, I'll be facilitating it, but it really is giving ownership to you as students, and it could be a really awesome way to further develop and pitch yourself to industry and perhaps your dream job or a job that you really covet. In regards to, so that's what I was doing for the past 4 years, and my biggest takeaway from that university was from the students, and it was all about like intrinsic motivation. Are y'all familiar with that term at all? Intrinsic's kind of when you do it just for the love of it. Like, you're just excited to do it. There's no external factors driving you to do it, right? Do you know what most classes are set up for? They're set up for an extrinsic motivation, right? You're in here most likely because you have to take this course to graduate, right? That's extrinsic motivation. That's outside of you of why you're here. Grades, right? Some people get excited about a grade, but a lot, it's more of just trying to motivate you to pay attention and do all that. That is not typically the best way to take information on, all right? So we definitely have a subject matter. Some of you are just going to love it. I did. I almost got a double undergraduate degree in economics, but I ended up getting my master's while I worked. And I know this student populace, a lot of you are juggling a lot of demands and a lot of different things. So hopefully I have a little bit of that perspective and I'm willing to respect and understand what's being asked of you. But I did like this subject matter. I know a lot of you might not. But I think if we find ways that it'll resonate within your job prospects, but also even your personal life, this can actually have quite an impact, okay? So bear with me or speak up. I have a different grading style in a sense, that also hopefully incentivizes you to do the things that you, in a way, like to do or prefer to do. Alrighty? Let's go ahead and just crank through this, I guess, and then we'll do a bit more of the interactive. Another, I guess, note to explain about myself, I have only ever taught class-based or one-on-one or group settings. So this online aspect is going to be a learning curve. And what I think is always important is lifelong learning, continuous learning. So that's actually part of what intrigued me about this position. And so there'll be some give and take in that arena. And it's also, hopefully, you're hearing some of the quality control, quality mantra out there. It's always about continuous improvement, okay? So bear with me. You're welcome to speak up. I have no problem with constructive criticism. If you just tell me this stinks or yada yada, I can't do much about that. But if you try to pitch to me or say, hey, maybe in this format or in this way. I could handle it better, present it better, things like that. I'm happy to try to adjust accordingly. All right? So, the syllabus. I'm in 249, so just around the corner. I'll be coming and going. I plan to have the block hours. I plan to stay or be here from like 9 to 10:30 right after class. So I know you might be running off to a different class or a job or different things, but it might be a good window to go ahead and grab me if you need something. I also will be here on Tuesdays 2 to 4. So, because I know class schedules run kind of uniform across days. So there's an extra. And then if you reach out by appointment, I'll be glad to fit in or block in a different time. This is the important date for the university this semester. I was to note that you have 1 week to solidify your schedule, all right? Or it starts showing up as withdrawals and different things on your transcript, as well as your, you can't get reimbursement for what you paid. I think this is correct. Between 12 and 19 hours is the same cost. But beware that there is a 15 credit threshold if you are getting any form of funding or financial aid from the state. Okay? What? Yes. Yes. The federal is 12 hours, but apparently the state here has a different threshold. So that 15-hour, again, hopefully when we get down to how I'm structuring the schedule and your deliverables and the different assessments, you'll see that you own it, really. And so even if you get behind or if there's an issue with an early quiz or something, there should be points that you can make up. So come to me if you really are concerned and thinking about dropping it, and we'll look at what's available and where you really do stand. Okay? Welcome. So it's your prerequisite was Math 101. Has everybody taken algebra? How long ago was that? Freshman year? And we're mostly juniors, or are we seniors? So it's a hybrid. Okay. And how many people are somewhat, I guess, confident in their math skills? Okay. Okay. So as we get to these different things, a lot of this is formulaic. So it's a matter of identifying the right formula and then being able to use it. Okay? So depending what we need, we'll work through either additional problems or we can even go back some about different approaches to solve things. Course description. So we're going to discuss methods for determining the comparative financial desirability of engineering alternatives. You'll learn to choose between options, and where outcomes are measured in monetary units, in the process help them make an informed decision. So this is kind of canned, and I took it from the previous year's teaching. Some of the stuff is required for your accreditation, which is important for the different certifications or degrees you want. I am a professional engineer. I also did LEED certification at one point. I have let that lapse. So I totally get the legitimacy and the need for the different accreditations, and that's what some of these things are clearly, a lot of these things are tied to. All right? Another just plug about the importance of engineering economics, or economics, kind of a little bit of finance is really what some of this is regardless of what you want to do and where you go to work, if you can't justify your decisions monetarily, a business is not going to go forward. And one thing that was really frustrating to me at a major power company I worked for is they paid analysts more than engineers. And I was like, any engineer can be an analyst, but an analyst can't be an engineer, right? And the reason behind that is because business typically rules. And if you don't speak their lingo or can't justify in their world, they actually get to make the decisions half the time. And so they won't listen no matter how justified, sound, everything you're doing. In particular, if you're not going to go work at a large company, it's possibly even more important you understand the cash flows and the financial decisions, because you're the owner-operator, right? You need to turn profits. You need to make sure you're making the best decisions and options available at the time, all right? So the major outcomes, you're going to get the necessary tools to evaluate projects. You're going to analyze alternatives for investment requirements, cash flows, returns on investments. Students, you'll be introduced to the time value of money and the methodology of basic engineering economy techniques. Proficiency in applying depreciation, inflation, break-even concepts, tax calculations, and economic analysis. And you're going to get a background to enable them to pass the engineering economy portion of the fundamentals of engineering exam. How many people are targeting that? The FIE? None? Do we have any of the computer engineering or those students in here? Because my understanding was some of this could be cross-listed or... Okay. So we won't focus on that as much. But how about these terms? Are any of these terms familiar to you at all? How about ROI, return on investment? Yeah? Okay. Break-even concepts? Yeah? Okay. Course learning outcomes, construction risk management. That's actually what my thesis was for my dissertation, was looking at mitigation techniques for strategic material pricing. So this does kind of connect and is a huge factor. And how many people think construction projects just naturally are going to go over budget? Don't think that. Don't think that. It happens way too often, and that's a lot of the public perception, right? But hopefully your education here will help you better control that, better legitimize it, come up with different strategies to negate that possibility, all right? Construction really has a bad name out there in a lot of different ways because we do face so many uncertainties. We always have the known knowns, but how about the unknown unknowns? Or force majeures, things do occur, but there are strategies for insurance or pegging pricing, different things in the economic channel to try to negate those escalations. All right. The outcomes, these are tied more directly to those accreditation requirements. So these are the ones that they're saying you're going to get in this classroom. I always try to interlace communication, so different writing ways or presentations, because that's typically the number one skill that industry wants and often says people lack. So every venue that you can get to interact and engage and communicate is key. All right? So class procedures and expectations. We're going to be using Canvas right now. I'm in the system, but I'm not in the system to actually interact with you as a class yet. Okay? I'm well aware of it. I've made them well aware of it. So we're going to be working towards that. All right? But that will be the main platform. That's where I will put the syllabus. If I don't get access today, I will try to find a way to get all your emails and send this to you, so we don't have to read this like into minutia, and you can always already start referencing it and figuring out, I guess, if this is the time you want to take this course, things like that, okay? But the procedures, I've networked and already started working with the fellow faculty here, my colleagues, and I've borrowed a lot from them. So this shouldn't be that foreign or different than what you've seen. I know each faculty member, it's their prerogative of how they want to interact, so I still could be, like one faculty member versus another or something like that. But the procedures are here. You're going to have proctored exams, so you're my live students, so you'll just come in here and we'll take these. I'm using exam as meaning like a seated test, and you'll see we're going to do quizzes and a final is the way it's going to be structured in that sense here. You've got to comply with all the technology requirements. I'm not asking for anything extra. I'm just asking that you can handle what's already being requested of you at this university, and that you seek out those support channels than myself for technology needs. Okay? You need to review the course material regularly. You're expected to invest time, that 2 to 3 hours outside of the contact hours. I know there's a lot on your plate. There's a lot of things, so some weeks might be more heavy than others. But if you do some preparatory work, come in somewhat prepared, I think we can tackle a lot right in these class times. There will not be makeup, all right? You'll see the system that I have in place that hopefully allows if there is an issue. If it is a valid reason, then I request that you go to the ombudsman, I believe it's better stated in here, to get the note to come. I'm not going to vet all of that. Okay? There, of course, is the Office of Disability Accommodations. Please seek them out sooner than later. 100% compliance by me. I want to support you. I want to do, and I want to make sure I support you in the environment you're most comfortable with. So if you want to use their facility for the different time tests and stuff like that, that's great. And I've already met with them, so I at least have a familiar face to already start that channel of communication to set it up. All your work in this class is individual. I have not put together a group project. If something comes up over the course of the semester, we could look at doing something like that. But right now, it is all individual. I expect that. As you study, as you go through the notes, please share and compare, create network within this classroom to start doing that. I think that's key. There'll be new content as I figure out the video system. They'll be uploaded on a timely basis, so you can even reference back the live students. Announcements, all tests, they'll be in folders. I'm going to try to use the new Canvas that's modular base and have everything hopefully flow pretty naturally in the setup. A key thing to note is how you will contact me. So you must use your USM email account. I'm not going to get into Hotmails, Gmails, all of that, all right? Some of that's because of the way you're in the USM system. If I want to send a bulk announcement or email out to the group, it's going to that account. It's not going to your Gmail. So I need you to already know that the USM is where I'm going to be pushing everything. So I want to receive everything back from there. Another key thing is the subject line. Put this course, underscore, and then your topic. So if it's like class issue, quiz issue, chapter content, anything along those lines, I can set up a filter. So I'll have a folder where all these go. So that'll be the first thing I always look at on a daily basis. So it's going to help me be more prompt and therefore give you the information you're seeking faster. All right? If you don't use that, it could easily get lost in the shuffle, and my turnaround will not be as well. And I'm going to do 48 hours. I hope to be able to address things even quicker. But I will make sure that gives me kind of, hopefully I get to have weekends here too, kind of thing. So it gives me some flexibility depending what's going on in my world. But I know the need and the interest is when you ask things, it's fresh on your mind, so it's always helpful to have it relayed back to you pretty quick. All right, so the required text, again, I'm borrowing off. If I don't know if any of you, some of you early birds, which was awesome, heard me talking to Professor Cannell, but there are no pictures. So it's a pretty dry text. So we'll see what I can do with some PowerPoints and things to make it a bit more dynamic or stand out. But we are using this book. Has anybody gone and gotten it yet? Okay. Part of the reason to use it is that ideally there are already some used copies. So if I swap the book, prices go up, things like that. But it's the book. So it looks like this. Please pick it up. We will be going through it. I'll try to interlace additional examples, so I'm not just working the book with you, but the book has the info, has what we're going to be building off of. All right. Technology requirements, previously stated, but what's expected is that you have a decent proficiency in Microsoft Office. We can work together. We can find different tutorials and stuff to get you more proficient. But I'm looking for that you are able to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Okay? And also, ideally, being able to convert things to a PDF. That typically, shrinks the size of a document as needed, particularly in PowerPoint, to send something. It also, if you print to a PDF, then it captures the exact screen you want me to see. So if it's an Excel sheet, instead of giving me an Excel where I have to look all over, if you print your frame, then I see exactly what you're trying to show me. All right? Hardware. So again, those are, my understanding, basic accommodations. In technical support, I am not your technical support person. I'm learning the system too, so I mean, I'll be able to share tidbits, but a lot of the things here at USM are new to me, so I'm getting up to speed as well, and probably could not answer as definitively or as quickly as you would like. All right, so I am not taking attendance. We have online students as well as you. I am looking, and I can see when you've logged into Canvas. So that'll be an identifier that if you aren't logging into Canvas at all, then I know you've kind of gone AWOL or you're not as invested or engaged. By attending live, I hope to get to know names. Might be a bit more difficult because I'm not sure how we're going to interact, but you definitely will become a familiar face. So if something were to come up or you have an issue, then I know you've vested, you're coming, you're doing everything you can that will come into consideration. But I'm not taking roll call, and therefore there's not a participation per se percentage of your grade. Okay? But, you know, it's always best, I think, to actually come participate within class, and it won't go unnoticed. So what we're doing for the evaluation criterion here is you're going to have quizzes and then the cumulative final, all right? And then I have 3 other areas. I'm calling them posts, article review, and a display, all right? And when I get into Canvas, there'll be more descriptor and what the deliverables look like, okay, or the prompts for them. But what you'll see is the weight of them, you'll see the number of them, and then your cumulative points. Okay? So, if you accumulate 900 points and above, you get an A. So the 900, you kind of just drop that last 0, and it's based on the same grading scale, the more traditional grading scale that you probably have in most classes. All right? So what hopefully you see here is there's this 150 out there. So you bomb a quiz, there are other venues for you to make up those points. It does require you to do something, all right? But it's already structured within this system. What I do want to note is that you must take each quiz and exam, okay? Or I will diminish the overall points you could even accumulate. All right, so those are the required things. You ace them all, you've got your A. You don't have to do anything else in this class. So if you prefer test-taking, type of instruction or assessment, that is the majority of this course. Okay? So, and I won't take late assignments and all of this. And what you'll see is, shoot, it didn't convert correctly. So I got to get better at that. That was supposed to be its own page. So what you'll see is the schedule. So today is introductions and syllabus review. Then we'll start going over an overview of the actual course on Friday. Okay? But what I have is all the dates. This is tentative. I'm still working through the book, trying to figure out the best way to block off this material. This course previously was taught a Tuesday, Thursday. So I'm also trying to figure out how to make it into 3 kind of lectures or 3 activities versus 2 big blocks. So bear with me, but I will always give you plenty of advance notice. I hope and have every intention of holding true to the quiz dates because I think they fall correctly and what I would want as a student, but let's go ahead and have that discussion right now. I've given them pretty much right before holidays. Because I, as a student, didn't want the burden or the stress of studying over my holidays. I think holidays or breaks in the academic calendar are really for you to refresh, explore, do something outside of academics here at USM. all right? But therefore, you taking an early holiday isn't possible. Does that make sense? But it's an 8 a.m. class, so you still kind of, depending on what your other load is, have some flexibility. Does that sound like a decent way to run these quizzes? So I'll build the content up and we'll stage those. Okay. And your exam is the Monday, again at 8. So your testing this semester will always be at 8 o'clock. So if you get used or find a way to wake up early or prep, especially on those days, to have a fresh mind and able to do those things, that'll be good for you. You don't have to then adjust at the end. So then what I hope you see next are these P's, A's, and D's. All right? Those are those 3 other things that you're able to do. So you can turn in the post, your first post, any time up until that day. Okay? So it doesn't have to be done on that day. It's just that's the last time, the last date I'm going to accept or give you credit for posting. Right? If you post the day after, then you get credit for the second available post. So it kind of floats. But I got to have a checkpoint to be able to work. I can't accept 10 posts from everybody at the end of the semester. All right? So there's some regimented cues. This will all be built in Canvas, so you'll see those prompts, and you can do it accordingly, and I'll try to get quick turnaround on grades. All right? If you were to post something that I didn't think was the level that it should be, I'll award you 2 or 3 points, all right, out of the 10. But the next post, and I'll give you feedback, so the next post you can nail the 10, okay? So there are 10 posts throughout the semester that you can do. Actually, yeah. The D, the display, all right? What I mean by display is what I'd like to get is either a PowerPoint presentation, a how-to manual, or like PDF document, or you could record a video. And what I'm asking you to do is, based on the content of that chapter, so up till the day before the quiz, if you provide that to the class, or to me, I'm going to share it with the class. I don't have to say who did it. But it's another way to try to get a student's view of what they're learning and understanding of the course content. Okay? So it's kind of a presentation, but it doesn't have to be you presenting, particularly for our online people, unless you wanted to video record yourself doing it. So I'm thinking it'd be 3 to 4 PowerPoint slides. It's nothing too robust. Okay? And you're only going to do one of those. But there are all these different dates that you could submit it by. Yeah? Yes. You only can do one a semester. If you want to do more, if it helps you learn and you want to share it with me, by all means. But as of right now, based on trying not to have an unlimited number of points, it's 1. Okay? And it's worth 50 points. It's worth half a test. And then these articles. Okay? So these articles are going to be like a quick summary and then your key takeaway. And what I recommend is the Harvard Business Review. Have any of you ever checked out the Harvard Business Review? No? Okay, it's excellent. It is out of Harvard, and Harvard can have, this hoity-toity kind of, thoughts to it, but it's actually a business journal that's top in the world. And it covers subject matter from some technical, like maybe tax stuff, all the way to like some quick ideas about leadership and about how to motivate somebody. Or one of the articles that I didn't pull up from my computer I was going to show you is about how important it is to take your vacation time. And the loss of cost if you don't. You're giving back some of your salary right there. All right? So it runs the gamut. They can be anywhere from, 4 to 8 pages. But it's more written in kind of a news style, so it's not this literature or research-heavy based style. And the reason why I really want to introduce you to it is because I think you'll benefit from it here on out, especially when you're in the working. You can get tidbits and tricks and ideas from it. Okay? So the idea is just a quick summary. What were they trying to explain? Maybe a paragraph? And then Depending how it goes, depending your comfort of writing, you could then bullet just the key things that you are going to take away from that article. What resonated with you? What would you like to act on or share with others? If that makes sense? And those are worth 25 points, and you can do 4 of those. And again, they're interlaced. And again, these are not their due dates. These are the last date I'll accept them. I'm a procrastinator by nature, but you don't have to be. Okay? So if you have some free time, if you really bombed a quiz, right after that quiz, go read an article and know that you have potentially regained 25 points. So you're in control. I'm of course grading and assessing and awarding points, but it's up to you the points you want to accumulate. So I hope you see that. So everybody, you are starting with 0, but you have 1150 ability to accumulate in this classroom. And I just want to stress that one thing shouldn't derail you in this course. Okay? It is a cumulative final. I'm going to definitely have a float day. I have no intention of presenting new content that last day. So, how everything's going, we can still work on those different things. So if it's a quiz that you didn't do well, we could revisit a lot of that stuff. And also, I always have the office hours, and we'll meet by an appointment. All right? Last thing on the syllabus to show you is the academic integrity policy. Hopefully you're familiar with it, not in the sense that you violated it, but that you know that it does exist at this university, and I intend to uphold it. Okay? And also the ADA. 2 other things that aren't on here that will have links within Canvas syllabus is that there is a writing center. So again, if these articles really freak you out, but you get to the place in the semester that you're like, I really need these points, or I need to get over my fear of writing in a sense, they seem excellent. And they're right there in the library, easy access. All right? So please, please, please use them. That display, if you want to build up your presentation skills, if you've never been recorded on video, there's a speaking center. I've never seen that at any of the universities I've attended. That seems dynamo. Go take advantage of it. Just go do that video just for the sake of being recorded, getting constructive feedback. It'll help you when you interview. I promise. These different things shouldn't just relate within the classroom. Hopefully we can find ways that they tie and enhance you outside this classroom too. All right? Questions, concerns right off the bat? Yeah? I intend to use the Canvas portal. Okay. All right? So you would sit in here and use your screens. And online would have to find ways to be proctored. Again, if they're the different disabilities ready to work with you in that group to facilitate what's needed. Do the assignments, assessments make sense? I know they're still a little ambiguous, and so I'll get documentation so you have a more clear understanding. But that's the way we're going to ideally roll with this point system.
Use my post a little bit.
Oh yeah, good call. Because that's your first assignment. Your first post can be creating your LinkedIn profile. Does anybody have a LinkedIn profile yet? Fantastic. So what I recommend is you go update it. All right? And join, once I get all your emails, I'm going to push to you a link to join the USM. I created a student constructors group, and if that was wrong, then I will fix that. Because I thought it'd be better just to go ahead and network the students here. And I'm definitely going to start with my classes and go from there. By the way, thank you for my shirt if you are a member of the student constructors. I like to already start buying in to the new school on that and stuff, so appreciate it. So LinkedIn. If we go, it's a great networking tool for sure. Linked, if I can spell, LinkedIn. It's free. If you want more capabilities, there are ways to buy memberships, but there's no cost behind this to begin with. Find a colleague. Hopefully, my updates went through. So, the neat thing is you can come out and you can see who else has your name. A lot of people. There I am. So, oh, you got to sign in. Well, I could do that. But what you go out there is you build in, and it's basically an online resume and an online venue to network with people. All right. So the students at the previous university I was at would go out there and find a company, and then they were able to find other Cornell alumni there, and they started like messaging within LinkedIn, or they found back-end ways to get directly their emails at the companies. And we're able to do, is anybody here familiar with an informational interview? It's a neat way to maybe target your dream job. And what you do is you just contact that company and you ask if you can have some time just to investigate what the job's about. So in a way it's like a soft way of shadowing, but it lets them start talking to you, seeing your interest, your ability, and sometimes if they have a position opening, they'll fast track you for the interview and things like that. So they post jobs within LinkedIn. You can signal whether you're interested in a job or not. And plus, it opens up the venue for you to start having your network. If you get hired at company A and he's at company B, and you see that A just landed an awesome new project that you're interested in, you could relay in 5 years, hey, we're both USM grads. We actually were in this course together, whether you want to say that or not. Be like, hey, really interested. Do you think y'all are hiring on, new estimators because of the big award you just got? And so it just opens up all sorts of channels and ability to cross-communicate. So first post, in a way, is building your LinkedIn profile. And then within that, the post from then on out is posting to our group in LinkedIn. And what those posts should be is professional. Okay? So it shouldn't be a Facebook post. It should be more of, hey, just read this Harvard Business Review article, think everybody should, and then you'd put your key takeaways that you read. So it can't just be a link to an article. You need to add some substance to that post. But I think it'd just be a great way for us to build this channel, share what's of interest, what's going on. If you've heard from your internships or your companies they're hiring, that could be a post. But within the post, again, it should be the key things that you think are important for that job or why that job would help somebody, if that makes sense. So they're very soft. Should be pretty easy to do these posts. But it's just about using this platform. It's an easy platform that already exists, that's free, and that I truly think will help you professionally. It can't hurt you. All right. Also, within LinkedIn, they have, I'm going to mess up the term again. I think it's credentials. Is that right? Yeah. So within that, you can credential each other, or you could ask me to credential you. All right? And credentials can be Excel. It can be Primavera. I won't credential you on Primavera because I'm not seeing you use it. All right? But there's communications. If you knock it out of the park with some of these writings, posts, and news articles, as well as maybe do the video or come talk to me so I can see that you also have some oral communication skills, I'll be glad to credential that. Okay? And this builds up hopefully, that professional persona and helps you connect better with your future work. Does that kind of make sense? Again, I'll better state it or give you more formal instructions so you can kind of almost do a checklist. Did these things, I should get my 10 points or 9 points. Then I'm going to throw this out in the dark and take 3. Okay? I do plan to have a graduate assistant that will help kind of administer or go through and help grade or score or enter these. So you do, again, get prompt turnaround, because if you haven't heard back from your first post, how do you know what to do for your second, to enhance or or do your second post. Also, I will have a few days where I'm traveling. I won't cancel class. You've paid good money to be instructed, so I will work hard to get either visiting lecturers or have the GA come in and work with you to do some additional exercises or examples. Okay? It's not too many times I won't be here, but I know there's 2 commitments. And if the ABC competition, if we get a group of students wanting to do that, I will be traveling with them to Orlando to compete. Anybody is welcome to do that special problems. I did not inquire about how that would fulfill your path to degree, so we'll have to figure that out, because maybe it replaces or counts as something besides just an elective. But let's just go ahead and take, because I think this will help me better relate and create material within this classroom. So if I were to do this, I personally have done a bit of residential, but my interest in my education was heavy civil. Are y'all familiar with these kind of categories? Do y'all use these terms, or is there a better term that you're... Okay. And then other, I just threw that out there just in case somebody really has a different mindset that wants to go into insurance or something like that, or if there were the computer engineers or somebody else in here. Hobbies. So I'm an avid, I guess, traveler. I've been to every state and almost 50 countries. And I also am a huge sports fan. So I am ecstatic to be in driving distance to Georgia Tech and Alabama for football, but also intend to root on our team quite a bit too. And I heard baseball is another big sport here. What's some of the others? Track and field. I saw on the homepage the female alumna. Yeah, that just slayed it. So that's awesome. Reason. I have learned that I am a truly Southeast biased person. I have lived in California. I have lived in New York. It didn't last long. I always come back to the Southeast. I was raised in Virginia, and then my schooling was Georgia and Alabama. And then clearly I'm now here in Mississippi. And then my job titles, so I've been anywhere from an engineer to a trader, and then, of course, an educator. So, and I meant to use different colors for different ones, but so be it. So, if y'all would just come up, you know, and if 4 people came up right now, then you could, like, trade off the different spaces and just jot up what you do, what you're interested in, things like that. That'd be awesome. I'm not trying to tie it to an individual. It'd still be interesting to see as you do it. But I'm really trying to understand the residential, your region, if you have an interest outside. Or if you're all Mississippians, that's great. But if we have a few that are like, no, I want the Pacific Northwest, or I want New England, then within engineering economy, we might not get into it as much, but I could look. But you're going to get into all sorts of union issues and prevailing wages and different things that could greatly impact that. You don't have to go in order. One of y'all can go down to like job titles and yeah. What? Yeah, just do a tick mark to show what the area you prefer to work in, or and if it's more than one, that's fine. I'm just going to do an aggregate. Well, they do that. Another thing that I just want your feedback on. We had people coming in and out while I talked. I'm a loud kind of person. I'm a tall person. It doesn't necessarily throw me off. I mean, it can sometimes. But is there a real consensus on this class whether you want me to shut the door? Is that too disruptive to too many of you? All right. So then I would just say, and I think everybody that did stand up or come in and out were very conscientious and courteous. So if you are running late, you are, I guess, still welcome to come, but please just come in and like take the first seat or the easiest one available. Oh, we got some others. Anybody want to share what the other is? So we have 3 people that ticked other. Does anybody want to share?
I'm doing mechanical engineering.
Uh-huh.
I work for a company in Hattiesburg, Little Rubber, and so I got hired on with them.
Uh-huh.
Design like windows, pipes, blenders,
Oh, sure.
all that. So
Some more prototyping. Yeah, fantastic.
I'll stick with them in further.
Oh, that's exciting. Do you all have any 3D printers or additive manufacturing?
Yeah, we just got bought out by Knoll. We used to be Technovation, so we got bought out over the summer by a company in Boca Raton, Florida.
Yeah.
So I'm a design engineer on right now.
Yeah.
So we're getting started on 3D printers. Started.
Fun. Yeah, I'd love to get a laser cutter and a 3D printer here just so you can start dabbling with design, because it's actually changing the way you can design.
Everything that we do, all of our prototypes, right now we get them sent off to an 3D and they get sent but everything we do, like when I design something on that Word, then they want me to print it out, play with it,
Yeah.
throw it away, maybe,
Yep.
and then just to get more hands-on with it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So this is kind of hokey, but depending on the size of your prototype, what some of the students, or yeah, we would do at Cornell just so we didn't have all that waste, is we'd find ways to make them into ornaments. So the students would take them home Christmas and be like, yeah, or whatever, or just ways to make them trinkets, because otherwise all that resin, all that plastic is, yeah.
We do big, like, a whole blender house.
But you can do it to scale. Depending on the size of your 3D, you can scale them, yeah. But, and what software do you use? Fusion? Creo. Mm-hmm. Fusion 360 is pretty neat. Mm-hmm.
Creo, when I first started, it was rough.
Yeah. Sure.
I've been doing it for like 2.5 years, so it's not bad.
Sure. No, you're getting proficient, right?
Right.
Mastery, yeah. All right. Wow. So we got a pretty good spread. So we got, anybody else want to share the other? What they meant by other?
I say other for athletic field.
Sure. I'm just trying to think. I think that would still technically fall in industrial, but yeah. Like, are you talking about the actual like earthen, like, not the stadium, that sort of stuff? And when I was a kid, I always wanted to be the Braves field crew. I mean, I know that's completely different, but
The company I work for actually did the field, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, out in Gwinnett. No, Marietta. Yeah. Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I kept saying computer engineering. I know there's that other degree here.
Been like introduced in my home research, working under graduate students and things of that nature, like specifically like nanoparticle synthesis.
Yeah.
And that's sort of things that's what I do.
Fantastic. Yeah, so I guess the easiest way maybe for you to relate across here is when you start talking about the physical plant that will create. Yeah, I mean, the economic modeling and numbers can be done for anything, but we're definitely going to be looking at it more of the equipment and facility scale than necessarily, well, I guess we'll do some material. We could look at it material-wise too, but yeah, fantastic. Awesome. Sports, social networking. So this is a key one where I am from the previous generation. And so social networking, I've gotten in LinkedIn. I would count as social for me. And I do like Twitter, honestly. But I don't do any of the others. So cool. But I know that is rather popular. Mechanic, awesome. Performer, golf. I've always looked into getting into golf. And the outdoors, sweet. I heard there's some beautiful forests all around here. All sorts of things to explore. How do you pronounce the river that's right here? Starts with a B? Huh? Bowie? buoy. Can you kayak canoe buoy? Yeah, sweet. Oh, people overweight very well. The Texas, that's a different angle. Yeah. But otherwise, we are some happy Southeasterns. I like this, that we're even more defined, and that's fine. What I would recommend to this person is that you still might want to apply and interview at jobs, other places, just to get the experience and have more options while you interview to strengthen yourself. But know when you get those job offers that you really would struggle or have issues if you took those other jobs. Does that make sense? Just, I'm not familiar with the job market here. I will start and be part of what I do while I'm here to better support you as students. But I know whenever you go to a specific region, you're narrowing options, and therefore you're just even narrowing your interactions and ability to strengthen your ways to pitch yourself and get the job you want in a specific area. Europe, very cool. Anybody want to share who's the European person? Yeah? Makes sense. You shouldn't be like that. What is it, Qatar? Qatar could use you right now, right? For all the World Cup fields. They're in a pickle. And then job titles. Foreman, great. Marketing, that's a different angle. So I'm taking some of these, I guess, ideally are what you're doing now, and I should have defined this better. Also was interested in what you want to do in the future. But I'll be able to get that because in your LinkedIn profile, hopefully you'll put that. Okay? So then I can see that and also know, are we heavy for estimating in here? Are we schedulers? Are we the foreman? Are we owner-operators? All those sorts of things. Okay? And we're about wrapped up. So I recommend all of you start playing in LinkedIn. We can pull some up and go into it a bit more on Friday to make sure we're all on the same page. And we'll start with getting into the crux of things and the meat of the material on Friday. Any other questions or concerns? Yes. Hold on a second. Stand up, just so they can see and hopefully focus.
I'm going to be starting a group chat just specifically for this class, and I find that the best way to learn is to be learning with other people that are doing the same criteria. So if you'd like to, I can get your number and add you to the group chat. It's up to y'all.
I like that idea. Any chance you would do it within Canvas?
Absolutely.
Because then I could moderate, or, you know, if y'all are helping each other and I see you getting off track, I then could chime in. That's great.